Our world is different from the one you grew up in. We're all connected and separate. We know what everyone is doing, and we see amazing things every day. You grew up knowing just your neighborhood because that's all you could see. We're growing up knowing the planet because we can see everything. The good and the bad. Global warming, pollution, our air, and our water. As our technology grows, our need for electricity grows with it. Many people say that need is destroying our planet. Others say it's all made up. So what's the truth? 20 years from now, everyone says things will be different. Like 20 years is a long time. Not for me. I'll be in my 30s, starting a family of my own. At least that's what my dad tells me. What's the world going to look like then? Are fossil fuels good or bad? Do we need to change? Are we? Is anything being done about it, or is everyone sitting around arguing? My name is Joshua Kelley. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm 14 years old, and I'm going to talk to some people who have a hand in our planet's future, one way or the other. Let's start at the beginning. Everything we use today, computers, hospitals, homes, and now even cars, require the generation of electricity, which is the process of generating electric power from sources of primary energy: coal, natural gas, nuclear. Of course, the largest is oil, but that's mainly for transportation. Since the early 1900s, the world's consumption of electricity has grown by 12 times. The Energy Information Agency predicts that all fossil fuel usage will increase drastically by 2035. One of the largest increases will be coal usage.
We need to move as quickly as possible away from fossil fuels and towards clean energy. Missouri is 81% powered by coal currently.
81%?
Yeah. Burning coal produces a lot of mercury pollution. For example, if you like to go fish, you may be aware that there are some warnings out there about how much fish that you can consume. And that's because really every water body in Missouri and most water bodies in the country, mercury pollution gets into the water, it then gets into the fish, and certain members of our community should not consume too much fish that's contaminated with mercury. Children, pregnant women, or even women who want to have children are all vulnerable to mercury pollution, and it's a neurotoxin. It affects the brain. Coal pollution is really the major source of that mercury pollution in our area.
And that's only a small part of it. Air pollution can cause things like lung cancer, respiratory infection, stroke, and pulmonary disease. The World Health Organization estimates that 4.6 million people die each year from causes directly related to air pollution alone. That's more people than the entire eastern half of Missouri. St. Louis City, County, St. Charles, the Ozarks, everyone gone in 1 year. So why is it whenever there's talk about pollution, the argument always goes to climate change or global warming, and whether or not it's real or a hoax? And the people that say it's a hoax use it as an excuse to do nothing, even though millions of people are already dying because of pollution. No one's debating that. So why isn't government more involved in making a change?
So that's kind of an interesting question. It's a complex question.
You have certain governmental representatives that want to advance and push clean energy. And then you have other governmental elected officials, for example, that may not be interested in advancing clean energy because they may be more sensitive to the industrial sectors that are opposed to clean energy. There are whole industries like the oil companies and fossil fuel companies that aren't so enthusiastic to want to adopt clean energy. They would rather protect the oil industry and the coal industry, and they make a lot of political contributions to elected officials, to select elected officials that then are sensitive to their needs and their desire to maybe not have the clean energy revolution that other groups and other advocates believe is absolutely necessary for the sake of survival.
It's clear the direction of our energy future is being fought mostly in Washington, but it's not really the politicians doing the fighting. Their goals are based on representing their constituents, money, or re-election. This contest is really between two competing industries, one group trying to grow and the other trying to stay.
Because in an economy, there is an aspect of what's called the zero-sum game, which basically means if somebody benefits, somebody has to lose. Now, we have to change the way that we view our economy to be more nuanced than just winners and losers in that kind of analysis.
If you were to focus on Washington alone, you might think the odds of things changing in 20 years are pretty slim. 20 years of each side trying to convince voters that their way forward is the best one. Fortunately, this debate has more than two sides. There are a group of industries that are already working to move us towards renewable energy, but for different reasons. Here at Ameren in St. Louis, Missouri, a quiet revolution is taking place. They're also looking at the future, and the changes they're making today are just the ones we need.
Every 3 years, Joshua, we have to create an integrated resource plan. It's really kind of a roadmap that utilities have to put out to specify how they're going to operate their business over the next 20 years. And that plan is vetted by stakeholders and it gets approved by regulators. So it's a well thought out plan that's very methodical, and it talks about, in our case in particular, kind of talks about our plan for retiring our older coal power plants, and talks about how we're going to bring on more renewable resources, things like solar and wind. It also talks about how we're going to innovate and how we're going to integrate energy efficiency into our portfolio so that our customers are consuming energy more wisely and more efficiently.
Ameren has taken a plan to start to develop wind power and solar power, and I commend them for embracing some of the changes that are coming around the corner and starting to adopt a more forward-thinking vision about what the Ameren portfolio of energy generation, what it should be made of. And I think that Ameren is responding to some of the concerns and encouragement from the ratepayers, that its customers, because it's very important to Missourians to adopt clean energy. And it's very important for Missourians to be energy efficient and to use more advancing technologies. So Ameren's got a good plan. You know, there could probably be a lot of aspects to it that could be amplified and augmented, but I commend them for what they're doing.
One of the larger projects that Ameren has completed is its O'Fallon Energy Plant. This plant is a 20-acre site with over 18,500 solar panels, and it generates 5.7 megawatts of energy a year. That's enough to power 650 homes. The exciting part is that it's not just the power companies that are moving in the right direction. It's also the companies who support them.
The O'Fallon Energy Center came around in about 2014. Ameren engaged with us to start talking about their desire and their needs to invest in renewable energy. And they reached out to us as a leader in the marketplace We actually took them to various other sites that were under construction at the time so they could get their hands on existing technologies, different solar panels, different racking systems. We took them out in the middle of the desert in the summer so they could see a high production site in action. And then Ameren held a competitive bidding process for us. And we were selected as the most efficient option for Ameren to move forward. We were pretty excited about that.
That's cool.
It was.
So have you been seeing more solar renewable energy construction since that time?
Absolutely. We continue to see more. So we're really seeing a lot of activity right now in the market, both in renewables and then also in battery storage. So a lot of these companies, such as Ameren, are taking the power they're making from renewables energy and they're charging batteries to be used for later, kind of harnessing that energy for later use.
The more research I did, the more companies I discovered taking action that will cause a positive change in our world's environment. Another great example is Missouri American Water. They've taken steps to create some of their own renewable energy, and some of the reasons they did it are reasons that other companies can get behind.
So with regards to solar power for our company, one of our values at American Water is to be a leader in environmental stewardship. And so we see solar power as one way to demonstrate that value by trying to find a renewable resource to use to offset some of our energy usage. And beyond that, it's a good business decision as well. So we are in business to make money, and the solar installation that we did here at this facility was a good business decision. We were able to realize a return on that project in just a short number of years, and every year we offset our electricity usage and save money on our electric bill. So yeah, the rebates we received for the installation came from our electric provider, which is Ameren. They're looking for businesses to help take some of the base load demands away from their facilities so they can save money and not having to upgrade their power plants to handle more and more demand if companies like us are putting in solar that offset that demand. So it's basically allowing them to say, okay, we're going to give you a little bit of a break to do this, and it's going to help them avoid huge capital costs to upgrade their power plants to handle more load. So from their standpoint, I think it was a good deal for them to provide the rebate. For us, it helped us drive this project and make it a better deal for us.
Yesterday, I was talking with Timothy Gantz, who is the Director of Water Quality and Environmental Compliance at Missouri American Water. He oversaw the purchase and installation of their solar panels. Now, they said that one of the main reasons that they did it was because of your rebate plan. And I found this interesting because it wasn't government-based. So not only are you investing in renewable energy yourselves, but you're helping others invest in it as well.
I'm excited that you actually heard about this. We offer a plethora of rebates and incentives for business and industrial customers to adopt energy efficiency measures or renewable measures. And we're excited that we can help with reducing the impacts on the environment. And those rebates go a long way to incentivizing not just businesses, but also we offer rebates and incentives to residential customers as well.
Businesses helping businesses. Everyday people making a difference. It's clear to me that we are, in fact, turning a corner. One of the main reasons seems to be that companies have identified renewable energy as not only a sensible solution to our planet's environment, but also as a good investment. The Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis reports that for the first time in our history, the renewable energy sector is projected to generate more electricity than coal in April of 2019. Dan Wanstead, a research analyst at IEEFA, said, 5 years ago, this never would have been close to happening. The transition that's going on in the electric sector in the United States has been phenomenal. Nevertheless, I'm still wondering, Where does that put us in 20 years? What will it look like? Will it be enough? Where do you think your company will be in 20 years?
That's a good question. So with regards to renewable energy and solar specifically for the future of the water industry and American water, I see it being an area of a lot of growth, meaning I think we'll do more and more solar installations at our sites. We've done them at wastewater treatment facilities, we've done them at drinking water treatment facilities, we've done them at operation centers. I see it, it's a good deal for us. We are a big user of electricity, and solar power allows us to offset that electricity usage, to eliminate an operating cost by investing capital in solar panel installations. So that's kind of our business strategy. So I see this becoming, solar's going to continue to be a bigger and bigger piece.
So Josh, based on what I'm seeing in the market today, looking in my crystal ball down the road 20 years to when you're my age and you're sitting in this chair and have kids of your own and are settled, the energy markets are going to look dramatically different. We're still going to have power lines coming in, but houses, we're going to probably all have battery systems in our houses for energy charging and storage. Electric cars, we might not even have gas vehicles anymore. The path and transmission and distribution of energy might change. Nuclear might not be around in 20 years as those licenses all expired. So it could look dramatically different for you and your kids, which is pretty exciting.
In the larger aspect of your question, which is technological advancement where it needs to be, I think technology is going to continue to advance and accumulate. There's a very famous paper by Ray Kurzweil, who's a futurist, called The Law of Accelerating Returns. And he talks about how digital replication and technological advancement is on an exponential curve, meaning it doubles and triples and quadruples every year that you move forward. And yet technology accumulates in a compound sense, year after year after year, where innovations pile onto themselves and build onto themselves. So, I've heard estimates about when nanotechnology is applied to solar power, that it will increase the efficiency of solar power by orders of magnitude. And we will see the continued expansion of clean energy based on this technological compound growth.
In 20 years, we will not be burning coal to produce electricity anymore, and that's because we can't. We have an obligation really to your generation to stop this hazardous activity that we've been doing for decades. It's endangering the planet, and so in 20 years, we will there will be no more coal being burned to produce electricity. Your electricity costs should be lower because, again, clean energy is cheaper. It's becoming cheaper all the time. Your quality of life should be much improved. There will be less pollution. We will have averted the riskiest aspects of climate change by then. These are things that we have to do. It's really not a question of do we have a choice. But that's what the future will look like because it has to.
Change is a lot like a raindrop hitting a pond. The ripples start small, but as you move away from the center, the effect grows. One drop can change a pond, but a lot of drops can change a planet. Our energy future is not being driven by a few ideological people telling us what we should do. There's nothing wrong with that, but mankind's history shows we tend to move faster when we're pursuing our own self-interest. Renewable energy is cheaper, cleaner, and more efficient, and it continues to improve every day. This is not a revolution, it's a technological evolution, and its progress is inevitable, but not without challenges.
This is really the war or the battle of the 21st century, is finding a way for humankind to reach a harmonious relationship with the environment that has birthed us. Why does 100 years in the future matter to me? I'm not going to be here. You know, it might matter to you. I mean, you might be here in 100 years because there might be actually technology, medical technology that increases the human lifespan. So it might matter to you. And that's why I'm doing this interview, is because, you know, you are pressing in to do this documentary about something that's actually critical to the future of the world that you're going to live in. And that's why I'm supporting you in this effort, Joshua.